read, and make it pay. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THEGAME. That's code THEGAME. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Make the call. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Ends December 2nd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
It seems everyone gets a tip these days. Deliver food? Get a tip. Drive around town? Get a tip. Serve a drink? Get a tip. But here's one tip that can help you find a higher paying career. Merit America can help you get the training and support to find and succeed in an in-demand job, like data analytics or HR admin or supply chain planning. It may be the last tip you ever need. Learn more at meritamerica.org.
Jack here with the sound of a freshly cracked egg, sausage grilling, you busting out of your front door. Oh, hey, no rush. My 2 for $5.50 sausage croissants are available all day. Get so much more. Plus tax, limited time only. Price and participation may vary.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
95.7 The Game and Great Clips have teamed up for the new basketball season. We want our listeners to look fresh with a great haircut from Great Clips. Each week, we'll pick a lucky winner to score a gift card. For a chance to win, courtesy of Great Clips, enter online at 957thegame.com.
All guests on 95.7 The Game appear on the River Islands guest line.
Dub Nation, this is Jimmy Butler, and you never know when I'll be on the River Islands guest line.
Dub Nation, this is Stephen Curry, and you never know when I'll be on the River Islands guest line. So make sure to keep it locked on 95.7 The Game.
River Islands in Lathrop is the best-selling master plan community in all of Northern California, with its lakes, parks, trails, and collection of new home neighborhoods. The good life can be your life. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands?
All right, folks, this is it. The weekend many of you have been waiting for. Black Friday. The lowest prices of the year on the top-rated brands of TV. Samsung, LG, and Sony, with deals up to $1,000 off. No need to buy a poorly rated unknown brand with prices like this. So what could be even better? How about video-only's better than Black Friday deals? That's right, better than Black Friday. Before you buy, check out video-only, or you'll be sorry.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check if they're going for it on 4th down, before going to the concession stand.
Yeah, give me 3 hot dogs, 2 jumbo touchdown, baby! What?
Hey, buddy, you want cheese with those?
Yeah, checking first is smart.
No.
What? So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off, because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
Looking for festive family fun this December? Come celebrate the season at History Park. On Friday, December 12th, bring your imagination to life at our Gingerbread Village Workshop, a date-night holiday experience where adults can build, decorate, and take home their own sweet creation. Then on Saturday, December 13th, bring the whole family and step into the magic of Children's Heritage Holiday, complete with crafts, performances, photos with Santa, sleigh rides, and old-fashioned holiday cheer across our charming historic village. Don't miss these 2 unforgettable holiday traditions. Tickets and details at historysanjose.org.
Monte Hill for my friends at Ceremony Ford, and the year-end sales event is on now. This is the time to score 0% APR financing for 60 months with $0 down and 0 payments for 90 days on some of Ford's hottest models, including the F-150, Explorer, Escape, Super Duty Regular and Super Cab, Transit Van, Lightning, and the all-electric Mustang Mach-E. Look, I absolutely love my Explorer. It's perfect for my family, packed with cutting-edge tech and style to stand out wherever wherever you go. And with deals like these, you won't want to miss this chance to grab your dream Ford. Remember, that's 0% APR for 60 months, $0 down, and no payments for 90 days. You can save big on top models right now. But hurry, these year-end deal savings end January 5th. So swing by Ceremony Ford in Colma, just off Ceremony Boulevard, or check out their incredible inventory right now at CeremonyFord.com. Ceremony Ford, the Bay Area's go-to spot for unbeatable year-end deals. And don't forget to tell them that Bonte sent you.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live.
All right, good morning, everyone. What is going on? This is the Kickoff Show, live from the Laughing Monk Studios at 95.7 The Game. Evan Giddings, Lorenzo O'Neill getting you set for the week before the bye week. The last charge as the 49ers invade Cleveland, and a snow-infested game is coming up at 10 o'clock. We got you until then, all right ahead. And Lo, you know, this is a kind of game, a kind of week that off the Monday night performance, I think there's a lot to discuss, right? The Brock Purdy interceptions, Brandon Ayuk, what's going on with him. The Niners, meanwhile, through all of this, are 8-4. How you doing, man?
Legendary. I mean, before we even get into that, I mean, you and I were talking a little pregame and talking about what we're going to talk about in the show and getting ready, and you just start blowing my mind. I asked you, how was your Thanksgiving? You said, great. And you dropped some, like some cookie knowledge. You told me you made a tater pie and you friggin' made a pecan pie. I'm like mind blown. I said you went over to Costco and got a couple store-bought pies and bring them to your family. You're like, Lo, when it comes to bacon, you gave me that look like, how dare you? How dare you talk to me? How dare you challenge my cooking skills? What's up, my guy? You baked it up, Don, this Thanksgiving?
Had to. The fam was coming over. The cousins were in town, friends, family, all the rest. So, you know, my dad, and this is really the thing, my dad would not let me get a store-bought pie. I said, I'll make the pecan pie. We've made sweet potato pie in the past.
Yes.
Let's get together, whip some stuff up. He cooked up a beautiful apple pie, but the thing about it was the crust. That was something that I'd never seen before, and so he's got this nice little recipe right from scratch. Takes a couple hours, and then from there, just bing, bang, boom, everything in the pot, and it was scrumptious, man. I can't lie.
You know what? I'm like, I know you're not a big Bible guy, but I'm like Doubting Thomas. Until I thrust my hand in your side, until that pumpkin pie or that tater pie or that pecan pie, until I thrust it into my mouth, until I eat it, then I'll believe, Evan. Then I'll believe.
I should have brought some by, man. I should have brought some by.
I mean, because I wonder. You know, I mean, I got my guy on the mic back there. I mean, do you hear this? I mean,
Cameron Williams in the house early, bright and early.
Cam was here before me. Cam said he threw down on the mac and cheese. I was like, okay. But my man, he's talking about the pies, bro. What'd you think?
The pies sound delectable, you know what I'm saying? You got to have a good dessert. Yes. I'd say with most Thanksgiving meals, what kicks it off or what, you know, makes it really, really good is the dessert, how you close off with the dessert, with the sweet potato pies, the pumpkin pies, apple pies, cherry pies, all that stuff is what's going to put the cherry on the top.
And he was the closer. And just like hopefully the Niners are the closers, as I digress, the Niners
that was great.
Are you like that transition?
That's professional transition right there.
Will they be the cherry on the top or the whatever, the potato on the top? Because they got this kid down there, and the guy that I'm talking about, everyone's talking about Shedeur. I'm talking about Myles Garrett. That is a cherry. That's a sweet potato.
That's the turkey.
That's the turkey. That's the ham. I'm telling you. I know we got some good tackles, and I can't wait to see that matchup. Can 71 turn back Father Time? Because I'm telling you, that is a boy dog, a man child. He's got 17 sacks. He's probably going to break the single season. What does he have?
He's got 18 through 11 games.
18 sacks. He might put this record out of reach for a while.
Especially because he's got the extra regular season game. You know, I always think about, well, if you do a record, don't you kind of have to do it in the amount of games that the previous record was set? Yeah. It's going to go down. It's going to be etched in stone. But
if he gets it,
he's got I think close to 10 sacks the last 5 games.
Right, he had 5 the other day. So if the guy gets And if it's 60, because it used to be a 50, was it 16 game season?
Yeah, 16 games. Yeah,
it used to be 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he gets them before, if he gets breaks the record and before the 16th game, then I don't think it's any asterisk by it.
No,
right?
absolutely not. He might get a couple today. In fact, I would be shocked if he didn't get one today because that's just how good he's been.
You know what? If you said there's a bet out there today, what's the bet? The one bet that you think is for sure. And I know McCaffrey's McCaffrey, and I love that guy, and we know the Niners should win this game. But if it's one bet, I'll bet everything that I own and have that this guy's going to find a way to get a sack today.
Well, it's funny because the bet on Garrett probably isn't just for one sack. It's probably for multiple sacks. I mean, that's how many he's been racking up lately.
Just hold him to one. If they can hold him to one, that would be legendary if this Niners offensive line, which has been playing pretty good, by the way,
no doubt,
and getting some stuff done, if they can hold him to one. But I tell you, I know he's a subject that we're going to get into. I know we're going to get around the league, but there is a lot when you're talking about the Niners, and I know those desserts aren't that sweet when you're talking about Brandon Ayuk, who just got paid, got injured the first game that he comes after he holds out to get the contract, and now we're hearing word on the street he'll never put on a Niner uniform again.
I mean, there's just so much up in the air. So this was really the report that prior to the Monday night game kind of blew my mind. Like as big as the game was, right? You want to move to 8-4. You want to take care of business at home. The news breaks over the weekend, last weekend, that Brandon Ayuk is headed towards being released by the Niners. And the details that have leaked out from The Athletic and Diana Rossini, all eyes are on Brandon right now. And it seems weird to me, Lo, because the media is saying that BA basically did not do what the Niners wanted him to do over the offseason. Rehabbing from his ACL and MCL injury, and he wasn't with the team. He was missing meetings, doing a lot of things that you would say, okay, that's obviously not good. You got to be around. But part of me, too, also thinks, Lo, that if, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you really wanted a player to be a part of your organization, not to say meetings aren't important, not to say rehab isn't important, but I feel like if that was Jerry Rice, you might be willing to turn more of a blind eye to it. To me, I wonder if this relationship has been kind of eroding since really the contract negotiation and then Brandon Knight having the best season and them not feeling like they're getting their money's worth. I'm not sure. It all seems very fishy to me, but what we do know from it is it doesn't look like Ayuk is going to be a 49er beyond this season.
Well, if if it was Jerry Rice, guess what? It wouldn't be Jerry Rice because Jerry Rice would never do that.
Well, it's true.
Jerry Rice would be there no matter what because he loves football too much. And that's the thing that is disheartening because when you look at it, you say, because I'm for the player. I never talk about anyone's turkey, their chicken. They should get their money. So get your money. I'm happy, got the contract. He held out, did what he needed to do. Trent held out, did what he needed to do. All these guys held out, whether it's Debo, whoever, all these players have held out and got their money. And sometimes you got to do that in order to get what you want. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. So he held out, and did it work out for Brandon Ayuk? Did he get paid?
Yes.
Yes. Now Brandon Ayuk's paid. He gets injured. Still, wasn't in the best shape. Got injured. Okay. So you got injured, but you got paid. So you're still getting paid. And now you don't show up to OTAs. Now you don't show up to off-season training. Now you're not there at the facility to do the rehab, to do those things. You're still getting your checks. You're still doing all those things. You're still a part of the team. The team bent over backwards to give you a contract to say, okay, we're going to bend and we're going to accommodate what you want because that's what you want. And I'm for the player. I played the game. I'm for the players getting their money. So I'm happy. Brandon, you got your money. That's great. But then for you to miss, not go through the rehabs, not be there, not do the things that's in the contract, not doing the things that's showing that you're a part of, that you're trying to get better, because you are a grown man playing a kid's game, getting a king's ransom, and they got millions of dollars invested in you. They want to see you around their trainers. They want to see the doctors. They want you to go through these steps. They want to see how you're building. They want to see your workout. They want to see the progress. That's what you do, and that's what's required of you. For you not to show up in those things and not be excused, I don't blame. I mean, this is one that I got to side with the organization. I want Brandon to go out, and he's going to go hopefully land on his feet and get a great team. But when you don't show up, what is the message? If you're the leader, and you're one of the leaders, if Jerry Rice or Joe Montana or those guys you talked about, Patrick Willis, if these guys, if they didn't show up and they wasn't there for the rehab, you think Nick Bosa's missing rehab? You think these guys, and you supposed to be a leader? it's hard for me to get behind you when you don't show up and the team bent over backwards and accommodates you what you wanted, and now you're not showing up, and now you missed a lot of rehab appointments. I just can't side with the player.
Well, the biggest issue that I have with it, and we're going to talk about the 49ers and the Browns and get into everything that has to do with today, but I do think we have to deal with one of the bigger storylines from this season. The biggest issue for me, Lo, is that everything that Brandon Ayuk has done since he's signed the contract, and even some of the stuff he did during the contract, which, again, is all in the effort of it's a part of negotiations. Yeah, right. You're trying to get what you get. But everything since he's signed that contract has made me feel like he doesn't really want to be here.
Right.
Or he's got one foot in, one foot out. You know, the FaceTiming video with Jaden Daniels, he's talking about other teams, and you want a player that you commit that amount of money to be that committed to you. You want it to be a two-way street. And everything that has happened since then has made me feel like, all right, well, he's a part of the Niners, but he doesn't feel to me like a San Francisco 49er.
No, it really doesn't. And it's unfortunate because he's such a talent. He's such an amazing player. When he's well, he's hell. Such a great route runner, can do a lot of things. But when you are disloyal, when you show, hey, look, I'm going to FaceTime other quarterbacks. I'm going to say I want to be other places. And, yeah, you could say that when you're holding out for a contract, the Steelers, and we thought maybe the Raiders, when he's jockeying for position and going and talking to coaches, that's fine. He has that right. But then once it's done and you're still not showing up, you're still not there, you're still really not committed, you're not saying the right things, you're not being a part, of the things that you need to do as far as to get better and to get on the field, the team can't trust you. When it's like that, it's like, okay, you still want me to pay you. You still want your service. We're not getting your services, but you still want to be paid. And when you don't show up and you don't do that, as far as with rehab, it's tough and it's hard for a team and it's hard for players even to buy into what you're doing. And that's the sad thing about it, because this guy's too talented of a player to do that. And even if they kept him, guess what? There's backlash, because now players know what he could get away with. You have to, when you have guys not wanting to be there, guys not showing up, not coming a part of, not doing the rehab and the things that you're supposed to do. If you let that slide, there start to be a breakdown in your foundation. Because let's be real, you paid Brandon Ayuk to take over for Debo and said, Debo, we're going to escort you out. You're now Brandon Ayuk, you are the receiver. You are true number one. You are a part of this new foundation. We're plugging you in. We got a long-term deal. You're going to be here with Brock. You are a part of the brick and mortar. You are our foundation receiver. You're a foundational receiver. Fred Warner's a foundational linebacker. Nick Bosa is a foundational lineman. So now once you have a guy in that ilk and he's not a part of that foundation and he's not the type of guy that you want as your foundation, because you know that he's going to have a direct effect on the other receivers, that may be the wall, that may be the beam, that may be the 2x4s, that may be the studs, but now the foundation's weak, so now they may be weak and they're going to be able to falter because they see what this guy's got away with. So I just think that you have to move on and hope the best for him. But if you're the Niners, you're in this organization, you can't.
No, and it leaves the Niners a little lesser than. And yes, they'll be able to go spend the money this offseason to redistribute the funds and all the rest. They'll be able to, I'm sure, to bounce back. But as for this season, you are now probably, in fact, I feel confident in saying you're not getting back your number one receiver. And that's going to hurt this team, because I think one of the built-in assumptions of this season, Lo, is that, yes, you'd probably have certain guys coming back. But one of those dudes was Brandon Ayuk. And they had talked about week 9, and then it was week 10, and now it's week 11, and now it's week 13. He ain't coming back this season. So you got to figure out what to do on that side of the football without a guy. And yes, is he a top 5 receiver? No. But he still was a player who was a second-team All-Pro, 1,400 yards. And he's going to be known now for more of his exit than his actual contributions to a franchise and a team that he nearly helped win a Super Bowl. So that's also part of it, too, is I think people are going to remember how B.A. left, as opposed to, maybe his crazy catch against the Lions in the NFC Championship game in 2023, some of the big games that he had, some of the awesome performances that he helped this team and some of the memories that he helped create for some of these groups. So unfortunately, that's kind of the case right now. As it impacts the game today, I'm not sure there's a wide receiver that is going to help you in this kind of game because we got rain, we got wind, we got snow during the middle of this game. From what it appears, the weather reports in Cleveland is that it's going to start with rain and it's going to be 25 to 30 mile per hour winds. And then by mid-game, maybe earlier in the day, it's going to be snow. So it is going to be a throwback Cleveland Browns, just smash mouth kind of game.
Oh, boy. I trust me. I say that tongue-in-cheek because I've been there. I've been in Cleveland where it's 14 below wind chill factor. 14 below in it's the area, you're up against that water and you just feel the cold when it's snowing. I tell the story that, we're playing in Cleveland, but you know what? We were the Chargers and we came from sunny California, Southern California at that, where it never snows in Southern California. I don't know why they got that song. It never rains in Southern California. It should be, it never snows in Southern California. That's the song it should have been. So, as I digress. But yeah, we go out there, we travel, we're going on a business trip, and Marty Schottenheimer's the head coach, rest in peace, and he says, let's go. We're going to run 60 and 70 power. We're going to be who we are. The great LTs out there we're playing. We're beating them, but it's freaking cold. I go out with sleeves off. I put Vaseline on my arm, go out there bulked up, trying to be sure that didn't last long. I said, let me put this shirt back on, freaking, because I'm freezing out here. And, we're beating up on them. But I remember looking back, and we're getting ready to lead draw. And it's freezing. We're trying to run out of clock. LT's, Dane and Thomas, and looks low. I'm like, what? I turn around and look back at him like, what's up, man? You ready to go? We were going to go. And he's like, I said, what? He goes, I can't feel my hand. So I'm like, dude, what do you want me to do about it? You run the ball. I'm fullback. Fullbacks, we want the ball because we never get it. He was willing to go play fullback and let me run tailback because he's freezing. And it's crazy because, he had, it's freaking freezing. He's got snot come out of it. The snot's frozen. It's frozen on it. So you're like, it is cold out here. So being in games like that, it hurts. Every time you hit, you just feel your bones feel like they're going to break and just like crack because it's freezing. You got the hand warmers in your, in your little purse there on your belt. You have the hand warmers. You have gloves. You got the heaters on the sidelines. You got to keep your toes warm because it's freaking your toes. It's just different when it's that cold. So you have to stay by there. You got a jacket. You're trying to stay warm. So these games are miserable. But guess what? The Cleveland Browns has to play in it as well. So both teams are going to have to play in this. I played on it, and that's what this head coach, this is going to be interesting because you got to get these guys to say, look, we got to suck it up. We're in the playoffs. We need to win this game. The weather can't play a factor, but it's going to be one of those sock you in the mouth, rock 'em, sock 'em, punch you, and let's go in the backyard and just slug it out. That's the kind of game it's going to be.
Well, and it's a big game, too. You win this game, you're 9-4, and not to say that it guarantees you anything, but you're pretty damn close to the playoffs. If you win this game on the heels of Carolina, which is a game you could have lost based on how much the quarterback turned over the football, on the heels of Arizona where Brock Purdy made his return and looked completely different than he did on Monday night. You win this game going into the bye week, you set yourself very nice for the last 4 weeks of the season to get to the postseason in a year that has been all over the place. So it's a big game for the Niners, but obviously it's a massive challenge. And the guy on the other side is a quarterback that, we talk about how Brock Purdy's this, and we're going to get into some of the things that he did or did not do last week that may have cost the Niners and some of the things that the Niners can think about moving forward. But Shedeur Sanders might be the most polarizing quarterback in the NFL right now, Lo. His name is all over the national media shows, a guy who has had to wait his turn because he was drafted to a team with, at the time, 5 quarterbacks, and then 1 quarterback got released, and then Joe Flacco got traded, Dylan Gabriel got hurt, and all of a sudden now he's been thrust into action, and it's against a Niners team that last week made another young quarterback in Bryce Young look pretty mediocre. So Shedeur Sanders is a guy that I personally, last week, was interested to watch play against the Raiders. Looked like he was able to quarterback them to a win. Looked fine, but he's another young quarterback that's got a lot of questions about him as well.
Oh, no question. He has plenty of questions about him. You got Robert Saleh who's going to look under the hood and see what kind of engine you got in there, and he's going to come after him. He's going to give him some disguises. You saw Shedeur, the young rookie, throw it, playing cover 3. We got 3 underneath and, 3 on top and, through, I don't know what the coverage for sure was, but you had him throw the ball in between a tight coverage and throw an interception. They fooled him. The The linebacker had hooked the curl. He's dropping to his flat curl in the corner, sitting in his zone. And Shedeur, he stares it down, so he doesn't get the linebacker to widen enough, throws it right in there for an interception, easy interception. So you saw Shedeur show that that you can confuse him. You can get him off his spot. You can make things happen. And then you saw some magnificent throws, where you see him roll out on the bootleg, scramble, throw that ball 50 yards in there, throw it on a rope. So you've seen how athletic and how strong of an arm and how he will take chances with the ball. Shedeur Sanders is going to be a tough out, and not just Shedeur. It's their running game. It's their defense. You're playing a team that beat Green Bay. That's had a chance to beat Baltimore last week. Doesn't say a lot, but defensively, you're playing against a juggernaut. You're playing against a great defense, in my opinion.
Well, and that might be the best unit on the field. You think about the 6 units, right? Offense, defense, special teams between the two teams. The Browns' defense might be the best unit on the field today because they're second in total points, second in total yardage. And to your point earlier about Myles Garrett, I mean, this is a guy that he might be the best non-quarterback player just in general. Taking into account every other position outside of the quarterback. When you think of the most forceful players in the league, like he's so great, and it's tough. Well, and it's tough too because he plays for the Browns, and so I feel like he's talked about more than he's watched. But if you have watched any Cleveland Brown games this season, it's impossible to not see Myles Garrett and what he's doing.
No question. Myles Garrett was on a team that was a playoff or a potential playoff. Guess what? He'd be MVP of the league. It wouldn't be candidate. He would be the MVP of this league. You look, he's got 18 and a half sacks. He's only got 11 games played with like 4 games to play just to say, look, for the regular season before you play the extra games. And he may break the record here in the next 2 weeks. If he breaks this record, why isn't he the MVP of the whole NFL? Because he's not a quarterback and they're not winning. And that's too bad for Myles Garrett because the way that he's playing, he should be very strong consideration for not just Defensive Player of the Year. I'm talking about MVP of the National Football League.
There was, I think it was a few weeks ago, the game you referenced when he had 5 sacks against the New England Patriots, and I thought it was just a perfect image of not only him, but also the season that he's having on the team that he's having it on, which is, they put the graphic up and said, single game franchise record, Cleveland Browns, 5 sacks, Myles Garrett. And it's as he's throwing his helmet in frustration because they're down by 20 points in New England. And I just feel so bad for the guy. It's like, you're watching the defensive Barry Sanders. You're watching a player who is one of the greatest to ever do it and still has a lot more left in the tank, by the way. He's only 29 years old, which is insane. Right. But you're watching a guy who is frustrated. You're watching a guy who is doing everything he can, who is giving his all, who doesn't miss games, who doesn't miss snaps, and is one of the most dominant defensive players we have. And he's just on a team and a franchise that cannot get this guy. And you think about, we got to get the quarterback help. We got to get the head coach help. No, we got to get Myles Garrett some help. And unfortunately, it's not going to come today. It might not come next season. But again, I never watched Barry Sanders growing up, but you knew how bad some of those Lions team that he played on were. This guy might be the defensive version of that in the modern day because he's just incredible and the team can't help him.
Yeah, well, you know what? I hope that he wants out of there and he says, I want to raise his hand and say, I want to be a Niner. I mean, to have him on with this team, and it would be unbelievable to get Myles Garrett. But no, it's tough, but he's been able to, accomplish a lot of things over there in Cleveland in spite of. That just tell you the motor and just tell you the player that he is. I think you got to look at this offense and like, okay, we know who he is, and what is this offense going to do? How do you slow down a guy like Myles Garrett when you see so many teams double team him, triple team him, keep a back end to help, and he's still able to wreck the game? It's going to be interesting just to see what this Niners offense and what Kyle Shanahan, how he's going to scheme up some things to slow Myles Garrett down.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one guy that you really have to look at it. And overall, they have a good defense. I mean, shoot, this was a defense that a couple of years ago, Jim Schwartz is still the defensive coordinator. He's had a good history against Kyle Shanahan. They beat this team in 2023 in Cleveland when the Niners were a juggernaut. They won their first 5 games. Right. It was a team that was en route to going to the Super Bowl. So I know that the spread may say that this is a game that the Niners should handle, 5.5, a game that they feel like that they should win going away. And I feel pretty good about the Niners in general if they do certain things. But this by no means is an easy game. Even if you took the snow and rain out of it, I mean, there's a reason why Cleveland, yes, they're 3-8, but they played some tight games against some good teams, and it's because of that defensive unit.
Oh, without a doubt. Jim Schwartz, you had him in Tennessee with the Titans. He was our DC and worked there with the Titans. Loved Jim Schwartz. Very smart guy. Was in a head coach for a while, and you see what he's been doing with Cleveland. This guy is a very, 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 very great coach. One of the best defensive mind type of coaches out there. It's going to be interesting what kind of game plan and how he's going to scheme against Kyle Shanahan's offense, because he knows the guys that he has, Myles Garrett, different players that he has on that defense and defensive front. What are they going to do to the Niners and how the Niners are going to be? This is going to be one of the better chess matches. And these two teams, they met, like you said, several years back when the Niners went to the Super Bowl. And Cleveland was able to beat them. So it's going to be a tough sledding because of the weather, because of the time zone. There's so many different factors you have to play into this game. In Cleveland right now, you think about what they have, just like the Niners. The Niners got a surge with Brock Purdy coming back. Here's your quarterback, got your guy back, so guys are happy. But you got to rush. You look at Cleveland, the media in Cleveland, and what this kid's bring to the stadium and what he brings to the game. They're pretty fired up, and they're pretty happy in Cleveland. The team is, you see them playing with that swagger. It's going to be interesting to see all those 12 jerseys and this, Cleveland. Here's a rookie that was a 5th round, and he's already made over, $8 million in jersey sales, the highest rookie sale in who goes 5th round. Just think of the power of having the name behind you. Goes 5th round, his shirt has sold more than any rookies in this year. So what's going to be like in Cleveland. He's buying cars for people. He's been in the media. He's done a bunch of things, his civic rent that he's paying. So the fans in the dog pound, that's going to be as cold as it is, that's going to be a tough place for the Niners to play. You know that. I know that. And those fans are going to come out and try to support Shadir.
And we're going to find out at 10 o'clock if the Niners can overcome it, a chance to move to 9-4. We're going to step aside and come back in just a little bit. We got you up until 10 o'clock here on the Kickoff Show. Also, a reminder that 2 weeks from now, Sunday, December 14th, we'll have you live and local at Laughing Monk Brewing in Sunnyvale when the Niners take on the Tennessee Titans at home. After the bye week, we'll be live and local there. Come on by, hang out in Sunnyvale, 2 miles from the stadium. If you go to 957thegame.com, hit the Kickoff Show graphic and click on the Eventbrite link. We got a free shuttle for you to and from the stadium, so keep an eye out for that as we move forward again to our next home game at Laughing Monk Brewing in Sunnyvale. Hall of Fame nominee Lorenzo Neal, Evan Giddings will be out there, and we'll be back after this on the Kickoff Show, taking you up again until the Niners and the Browns right here on 95.7 The Game.
Looking for festive family fun this December? Come celebrate the season at History Park. On Friday, December 12th, bring your imagination to life at our Gingerbread Village Workshop, a date night holiday experience where adults can build, decorate, and take home their own sweet creation. Then on Saturday, December 13th, bring the whole family and step into the magic of Children's Heritage Holiday, complete with crafts, performances, photos with Santa, sleigh rides, and old-fashioned holiday cheer across our charming historic village. Don't miss these two unforgettable holiday traditions. Tickets and details at historysanjose.org.
Tired of the same old night out? Head to Ghostwood Kitchen, your neighborhood spot for an incredible time. They take pride in their huge selection of in-house craft beer, innovative craft cocktails made with fresh ingredients, and full menu of delicious scratch-made food. From their smash burgers to their unique appetizers. Don't miss their special entertainment nights featuring Wednesday night trivia. On Friday and Saturday night, Ghost Hour is 50% off all drinks, 9 p.m. to close, and featuring a live DJ on Fridays. Find your vibe at Ghostwood Kitchen, 911 Main Street in Redwood City, and at ghostwood.com.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then You may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Red and Gold Game Day starts at Laughing Monk Brewing. Park for free. Enjoy amazing food, ice-cold beer, and every game on TV. Catch 95.7 The Game's pregame show. Then hop on the free shuttle straight to the stadium. Sign up now at 957thegame.com.
Monte Hill for my friends at Ceremony Ford, and the year-end sales event is on now. This is the time to score 0% APR financing for 60 months with $0 down and 0 payments for 90 days on some of Ford's hottest models, including the F-150, Explorer, Escape, Super Duty Regular and Super Cab, Transit Van, Lightning, and the all-electric Mustang Mach-E. Look, I absolutely love my Explorer. It's perfect for my family, packed with cutting-edge tech and style to stand out wherever you go. And with deals like these, you won't want to miss this chance to grab your dream Ford. Remember, that's 0% APR for 60 months, $0 down, and no payments for 90 days. You can save big on top models right now, but hurry, these year-end deal savings end January 5th, so swing by Ceremony Ford in Colma, just off Ceremony Boulevard, or check out their incredible inventory right now at ceremonyford.com. Ceremony Ford, the Bay Area's go-to spot for unbeatable year-end deals, and don't forget to tell them that Bonte sent you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9871. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9871. That's 800-575-9871. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's your boy Guru. Every time we put a rat on the table during our show, it's brought to you by Atco Pest Control. Atco Pest Control is a family-owned local business proud to provide pest control in the Bay Area for over 35 years. Atco uses natural methods to give you a peace of mind and keep your family out of harm's way. Quality pest control doesn't have to empty your savings either. Don't wait. Go to AtcoPestControl.com for all your pest control needs. They got you covered.
Catch comedian and actor Nick Offerman when he comes to the Bay Area with his Big Woodchuck Tour at the Masonic on February 7th. Buy your tickets at LiveNation.com. And for a chance to win a pair of tickets courtesy of Live Nation, enter online at 957thegame.com.
Now back to the Kickoff Show on 95.7 The Game.
Evan Giddings, Hall of Fame nominee Lorenzo Neal with you until 10 o'clock when the Niners take on the Cleveland Browns here in Week 13. God, we're already playing damn near December football.
That's crazy, bro. It's December here. This next week's December. I mean, it is crazy that you look at the season, you're like, man, 4 or 5 games left, whatever it might be, and you're like, wow, what a season. And the Niners, in spite of all the friggin' injury bug and guys not wanting to play or whatever it may be, and Brock Purdy getting hurt, they're still in the thick of things, and they still are making noise. But I'll tell you right now, Brock Purdy throws 3 interceptions a day.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. They lose that game. And that's a question that, we'll get the listeners to, and they want to call in and talk about. If this Niner team doesn't make the playoffs, is it because of injury or is it because they went back to Brock Purdy? And I think that is something that people will talk about this year. If they don't make the playoffs, are they going to have second guess and say we should have stayed with Mac Jones, not because he's better, but he was better this year and he gave us the better chance to win this year.
Well, that's been something that I've been going back and forth on about. All right, well, what are the expectations for Brock Purdy, right? Because he's dealt with the turf toe the whole year, and I think originally, Lo, I was more afraid of what the injury could do to him than his performance itself. And maybe the two are connected, but week 1 against Arizona, he looked like Dr. Jekyll. And his second week back on Monday night against Carolina, he looked like Mr. Hyde. And the performance against the Panthers, though they won, it's got me feeling differently about what this season has to be for the Niners, because you had a guy in Mac Jones who you won enough games with. I mean, you were on a track to get to the postseason. I think that Mac Jones, whether he looked as good or it doesn't matter, he could have beat Arizona.
Right.
Would have beaten Carolina. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
So if your record would be about the same with Mac Jones or Brock Purdy, then Brock Purdy's got to be better than him. And he has to elevate your offense and elevate your team. And so I think you're absolutely right. If you don't make the playoffs, I think that does fall squarely on the shoulders of Brock Purdy. And I would even to take it a little bit further, look at Kyle Shanahan, because he's the one who made the choice.
Yeah, and I think that you looked at it. We talked about it early before even the transition. Was like Brock Purdy is the hot hand. He's playing well. He's got a great command of the offense. He's playing. He knows what to do with the ball. He knows he's not going to take chances with the ball. He's going to protect your team. He's going to play pretty conservative, but he's still going to push the ball down the middle of the field, and he's efficient. And that's why it was like, for me, it was like, not that Brock Purdy wasn't better. It was like, this is the hot hand right now. Why are you going to go in the kitchen and mess up a great soup when the soup has already tastes pretty good, and it's already pretty much been prepared, and now you're going to go doctor it up? For what? For who? Why? And that's what I feel. I think that you look at Brock, and Brock is still, he's, they're saying, hey, get him going. He's going to get better. He probably will. But you could have lost that. You could have very well lost the game, to Carolina, and you should have. You throw 3 picks, and you're going in to score. You don't get anything out of those. That game, if Carolina was a better football team, Carolina wins that football game. You can't turn the ball over, and especially you don't have a great defense. Your defense is average or below average. You can't hurt your team. That's the thing that's really tough, and that's what I look at, and that's why I'm like, okay, you're looking at this team, you're looking at, what's going on and what can happen. You just can't make these type of mistakes, especially when especially the next couple of weeks, because, it'll hurt you.
No, and look, they got away with it. I mean, he threw 3 picks on 3 straight possessions on Monday Night Football, and the Carolina Panthers got 3 points out of it. You're right, and maybe it's just the difference of one team. Cleveland is not a great football team overall.
No.
But in a game like this today, points are going to be at a premium.
No question.
Because of the conditions, because of the style of play, because of the defense on the other side.
And your kicker. We haven't even talked about the field goal kicker. How we talk about special teams counts as the third. You got an injured field goal kicker. Now you got to brought in another guy who was released for another guy that was on the Niners. So when you think about all the things that are surrounding this team, and even though you're going and you're favored by 5, you're playing Cleveland. You have to be careful, and you can't give this team. This is going to be a field position. This is going to be a turnover game. You have to win those battles if you want to win. You're a better team. You're a better overall team than Cleveland. You don't have a better defense. You're not better in a lot of positions. So let's take it for what it is. The Niners are a good team. The Niners should win this game. But if you are not a great team that can mess around and allow Cleveland to stick around, because if you do, they'll beat you. They'll beat you.
Are you buying Kyle Shanahan when he talks about the decision-making of the interceptions for Brock Purdy? I want to play this. This is from Monday Night Football after the game, and Kyle Shanahan kind of talking about what he saw on those 3 straight picks.
Yeah, you got to think about all of them, why it's happening. It makes me a lot more hesitant if they're all bad decisions and stuff. But he was seeing it right. They were all really good decisions. He just missed the throw on them. So, I think it is a lot worse when you feel like he's not making the right decisions.
I don't know if I read all those as right or correct decisions.
Yeah, I think the one where he tries to hit Jennings in the middle of the field, the guy had pretty good coverage. The ball would have had to been placed even better. Wasn't the right decision. The one where they're playing, I think single safety high, cover one, and the safety comes and he throws it, and safety comes and get it. I could see that one. He just maybe didn't see him, and he's just lurking. But you got to hold him with your eyes. You got to do a better job of disguising that. So it's still the wrong decision. So I get what he's saying. I understand. Now, if he gets there, you have an opportunity to make a play. But the one in the middle of the field, when he gets intercepted, Jennings and him, it's I don't think it's the right decision. That coverage was too tight to throw that ball. The other one I can see with where he throws it and safety just comes over out of nowhere. That was maybe the right decision. But there's a questionable, and you can't say that. I think that you have to realize and say, look, as a quarterback, I understand you're trying to make a play, but it's tough when you say it's the right decision, because do you think every quarterback would have made that decision? And that's why I have to differ, with Cal Shanahan, which I think is a great coach. Some quarterbacks wouldn't have thrown it there.
No, and he's not gonna put his guy under the lights like that. I think that whether it's the decision making or the execution, when you throw 3 picks, it's all a problem. If those were the correct decisions, if we're going to believe Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy that indeed they were, okay, that's fine. But then you still weren't able to execute the throw, which is a problem in and of itself, because all 3 of those passes were down the field. They were into tight windows. Well, are you telling me that in the future you're going to try and make those same throws and that there was nothing you could learn from those passes? Because I hate to break it to you, if you do that again, those throws and those picks are going to happen again. And
exactly.
So, it doesn't really matter to me watching that football game. And part of it, too, Lo, was the success of interceptions. I mean, it's one thing when you throw a pick and then, in the second half there's something else that happens, bobble ball, batted pass. I get it. But it was 3 straight possessions when your team is up 7-0 and you have a chance to really apply pressure early in that game where you turn the ball over. And every single time it's the visual of Brock going to the iPad and sitting down and trying to learn what he's doing. It's like, buddy, you could just lay up. You don't have to take the driver out. You can swing an iron off the deck and be on the green in 2. You don't have to hit the home run ball, especially because the Niners, we understand their schedule hasn't been so difficult, and some of the teams they've played, every team's competitive, don't get me wrong. Everybody gets paid, but some of the teams are not as great as others. And so against a team like the Carolina Panthers, similar to today, against a team like Cleveland, if you take care of the ball, you win that game.
Absolutely.
The only thing that's going to let them in the game is you making a mistake. And that, to me, is what was troublesome about the Monday Night Football game.
Yeah, and the thing about it was troublesome. If the difference is you're playing at home. You play it at home, and this is one of the best fan bases, hands down, the San Francisco 49ers. Their fan base is unbelievable. They travel well. They're home. You never come to this stadium, the Levi's, and there's more of the opposite team. Never. The Steelers, you've seen it happen when they go to certain places. They travel. The Niner fans, they do not sell their tickets. This is one of the hardest stadiums and one of the best fan bases that's going to make sure you play. Look when the Niners go to L.A. The Niners take over that stadium. So I'm saying Cleveland, that's a good fan base, even though they lose. So if you throw interceptions, you do those things, you're going to be in trouble because they have a good fan base and you can get away with certain things at home. The crowd's going to be with you. If you're playing, even if that game would have been in Carolina and with their fans, it's different. It's different for the young quarterback. So you alluded to, look, if I'm on a par 5 and it's 450 yard par 5, I take my driver out, boom, and it's that was maybe the right. Was it the right choice, the right decision? Or sometimes if you know what, I'm gonna take a little less distance. I'm gonna check the ball down. I'm just gonna hit my 3-wood. I hit my 3-wood a lot more. My 5-wood, I hit it a lot more straighter. Maybe it doesn't go 320 or 330. I lose 50 yards, but it still goes 250, 250, 240, 230. So I still got a good shot. Now, could I have hit it maybe further with the 3? Yes. But do I make that decision? I take the safe bet. Sometimes, yeah, I see Jennings in the middle. And yeah, if I throw this absolutely perfect and I'm not off because the driver, it's a different swing than the woods, than your irons. You're closer to your body. You got to keep it tight. And if I put perfect, if I go back perfect, I'm going to hit my driver and I'm going to hit Jennings. But if I don't, it can be an interception and it can cost me a couple strokes. It can cost me a touchdown. So if I take that, if I see McCaffrey or if I got it underneath a shorter route that's 10 yards, take what you know. And that's what you like to see Purdy do. So yes, it was the right decision, but there's a better one. Is there a better option that keeps you out of harm's way, that keeps you out of the bushes, that's keep you from going underneath trees? It's right down the middle. And sometimes that's what you want to see this guy do. Not question his ability, not question his smarts, question sometimes the decision making. Instead of taking the safe, he's trying sometimes to go for the big play instead of saying, I can take that. Even the one he threw in the middle, it was in the end zone when he steps up. Freaking Kittle's coming right across his face. It's in Kittle, yeah, it wouldn't. Maybe Kittle catches that ball, turns a 10-yarder into a touchdown. So we don't know. That's how explosive. So instead of that, I'm going to go for the ends and put the driver away, man.
Yeah.
Put the driver
Just
away.
lay up.
Just lay up. I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all you have to do is not be in the drink. You know, if you're not in the water, you're gonna be. God forbid you bogey a hole. It's okay. We're gonna get to the next one. Yes. You can find birdie later down the road, but you cannot mess up your entire round in one hole.
Don't get a snowman.
Exactly. Yeah.
Instead of going from bogey, you went to triple, and now guess what? Your round's pretty much done. So you can't, and that's the thing. You're not good enough to get we're not. This Niner team is not good enough to get a triple, to be over 3 over on a par 3, and you end up getting a 6. It's hard to overcome because your team's not good enough. Your defense isn't good enough to overcome those type of adversities.
Yeah.
That's the difference with this team. So that's why you got to say, man, we have to play complementary football. We can't turn the ball over. We got to play field position, and we got to. That's how this Niner team can beat you, by playing complementary football, not making a bunch of mistakes.
Well, and that's what's a little confusing about watching Brock Purdy. I would say, and it's not just this year. You know, I would go back to last year too, because he'd sometimes put the ball in harm's way. You know, I think one of the reasons why I really liked watching Brock, and I think he was the right quarterback for the Niners a few seasons ago, is because he did take the layups. You know, he hit some deep balls. I think he doesn't get enough credit for his ability to drive the ball down the field, but now it's like he's trying to hit the home run every single play because there's not as much around him. And I guess that's where I would like to see him take the next step in his career. He's only 25 years old. I think people don't realize how young he still is. But when Brock Purdy was at his best, yes, he would occasionally take a deep shot. He would occasionally put the ball up in the air and drive the ball down the field. But most of the time, he was taking what the defense would give him. And sometimes that means, all right, well, we're not going to be able to sustain this drive because we got to punt this ball and we got to pin them deep in their own territory to give us a better shot on our next possession because we got to trust the rest of our team, like you said, playing complementary football. I think that version of Brock Purdy is still there, but maybe it's because of the team he's on now, or maybe the contract and the weight of the franchise that he feels like is on his shoulders. But it just seems like Brock Purdy he's getting a lot more ambitious. And on a night like Monday night, it got him into a lot of trouble.
It really did. And I think that's a great way to put it. He's getting a lot more ambitious, and he's trying to he's going for the knockout instead of saying body blow, and okay, now I'm gonna take a headshot. And that's what this team has to do. You just got to look at the makeup and what you have offensively, defensively. This is a team that's going to have to grind to win. And if every now and then, if you can take a big shot and get one over on us, take it. But at the same sense, you have to understand, you take these little out routes, do whatever you got to do, underneath the Kittle. You hit Kittle on that play instead of trying to throw it to the end zone. Who cares? You know he would have got the first down for sure, even if he got tackled 5. But he had some room to run. So you just got to say, I can't put my team in harm's way, because that would have led to 7 points, or at least 3. So that's the thing. This team has to play more complementary football, offensively, defensively, and special teams, if they want to get into the playoffs. If they're going to win today, you have to do that. You can't go out here and throw 3 interceptions, 4 interceptions, and expect your team to overcome, because I'm telling you, statistically, you're not supposed to win those games.
And I expect Brock Purdy to bounce back. The game where he infamously threw 4 interceptions on Christmas against the Ravens, he bounced back the next week and diced up the Washington Commanders. So he has a track record of playing better after bad games. But if, and you brought this up before the show, if Brock Purdy has another performance like that, where he's not careful with the ball, and this time maybe it costs you a game, especially in a season where the NFC is real competitive. You drop a game, that might cost you a postseason berth. If he has another performance like that, do you think that Kyle Shanahan and the Niners consider the guy who's behind him in Mac Jones?
I don't think so now, because now you would open up Pandora's box. You had an opportunity to ride this out, and people would have been like, you know what? It's okay. Let Purdy get healthy. The only way they go back to Mac Jones, if he gets a concussion, or if he injures his toe, and if there is a setback of that magnitude, or if he's at practice during the week, at practice, and he scrambles and someone hits him and he's hurt, I think they go back to Mac Jones. And if they go back to Mac Jones, they will finish with Mac Jones. It's no way, if he re-injures his toe or if gets a concussion, they do not go back musical chairs. It's Mac Jones' team the rest of the year. I'm 1,000%, I believe that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that once you went to Brock Purdy, you got to let him finish the season out. You just hope that it doesn't cost you. And I don't think that it will. I mean, today, whether you win, you lose, I feel better about them getting the W today. Tennessee, after that, is a game you should win. And then it gets pretty difficult with the Colts, the Bears, and the Seahawks. But if you win today, and I'm assuming that the Titans is a game that you can get, especially because you're at home, then you just have to win one of those final 3 games.
And it's the Bears. I think that game you win. You win today, you beat Tennessee, and you beat the Bears. You know that, and that's still tough, but the Bears are coming out here. You're playing Chicago Bears at home. So you have a great chance there. You need to win today. I mean, and then when you talk about that schedule, you're not going to I don't think you're beating Seattle. I think Seattle's top 3 teams in NFC. I think you got the Rams, and I think Seattle's maybe number 2. If you look at Seattle's defense and the way they're playing, the biggest thing for them is the quarterback in pressure situations. Can Seattle's quarterback hold up? And that's the only downfall. But when he's well and he's hell and they're winning and they're ahead, they're a tough out. So I don't think Green Bay's still playing pretty well. Starting to play well. I think that there's a team that's playing even probably better than a lot of teams in NFC, but I think it's just too little too late.
Dallas.
The Cowboys. If they got in the playoffs, if they found a way, they'd be hell. But I just don't think that they will. They let too many games get away from them. And I'm saying that about the Cowboys to say the Niners don't want to let this game get away from them, because they'll be kicking themselves after the season if you let this game get away.
Yeah, I mean, there's 9 teams for 7 spots right now. To me, where I would cut it off would be the Cowboys. I think that they're playing well enough to potentially win out. So I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on teams. Detroit losing to Green Bay on Thanksgiving was a big help for the 49ers, because that's a team that's also potentially trying to catch you. I mean, that's who the Niners got to fend off. And fortunately, they don't have to play any of those teams. The Niners have done their work already.
Right.
They're 8-2 in the NFC, and a lot of it is by the work that Mac Jones did, the work that the Niners as a whole did early in the season, and now it's Brock Purdy's job to. I don't know how far they can go in the playoffs. I certainly don't look at them as the scary team that nobody wants to play, but it's his job to sort of steer this ship into the playoffs. And if he doesn't do that, especially considering the start that they've had this year, I do think that there would be disappointment. Originally, when I was thinking about when he came back and the Niners, who were kind of a fringe playoff team, and Mac Jones was 3-3 in his last 6, I was thinking, all right, well, if they don't make the playoffs, I guess I could understand because of the injuries. But after getting these last 2 games, a game you should get today, a game you can win after the bye week, this is setting up to me, Lo, for the Niners to be a team that if they don't make the postseason, a lot of people are going to wonder why.
Yeah, and you know what they're going to say. They're going to point this at
number 13.
No question. And rightfully so, because you look at Jacksonville, this is a game that if you look at, could have easily won. You decided to go back to Brock Purdy early, and you lost Jacksonville. Right now, you'd be sitting at this game, 10? You'd be 10-3 right now.
9-3, yeah.
9-3, and you're 1 game, 2 games maybe out from now for sure being in the playoffs, maybe 1. So and now if you squandered this game and Brock has those 2 or 3 interceptions and you lose this game, I'm telling you, you'll see the heat will start to mount, and it won't be pretty. But you should find a way to get this game. You find a way to get Tennessee and Chicago Bears, and you're okay. But it's going to be just interesting to see what this team can do. I think that you have to look at the quarterback position, because that's where all the money goes to these quarterbacks, and that's just the way the NFL is. And you say, okay, if you're going to pay this type of money, you got to be the one that's answering a lot of these questions. And I know Kyle Shanahan bailed him out, which was fine. Can't talk about your quarterback. Can't say that was your quarterback. You can't question his decision making. So hey, he rode with it. So let's see what this thing. We got to continue to ride with it.
888-957-9570 is the number if you want to get in on the conversation. Now, I would just ask people out there, if you want to call in, what are you thinking about the San Francisco 49ers right now? How are you feeling about this team? How are you feeling about the game, their position in the NFC, just about this season right now? Is it about the quarterback? Is it about some of the injuries? If we're going to take the pulse of the fan base right now, how is the 49ers faithful feeling right before the bye week, the latest bye week of the season, as they've gone through the first 12 weeks and they have come out 8-4? To me, it's been impressive. But you look up at the NFC, and that's where I want to go on the other side. Sort of where do they factor in right now among their division, among the conference? It's looking like the conference of power right now. I want to dig into why on the other side. Also with your calls at 888-957-9570. We are 2 weeks away from being back at Laughing Monk Brewing in Sunnyvale for the time the Niners return to Levi's Stadium. We got a free shuttle set up for you to and from the game, so you can come, you can hang out, you can watch some of the 10 a.m. games, grab a pop, grab some breakfast, be on your way, have a great time, get a free ride back. All if you head to 957thegame.com and find the Kickoff Show graphic, the Eventbrite link. It's all set up for you. Again, 2 weeks away when we're back at Laughing Monk Brewing, the Kickoff Show with Evan Giddings, with the Hall of Fame nominee Lorenzo Neal, all in 2 weeks. But for right now, halfway home, we got to till 10 o'clock with the Cleveland Browns and the Niners, all right ahead here on 95.7 The Game. We're back after this.
Monte Hill for my friends at Ceremony Ford, and the year-end sales event is on now. This is the time to score 0% APR financing for 60 months with $0 down and 0 payments for 90 days on some of Ford's hottest models, including the F-150, Explorer, Escape, Super Duty Regular and Super Cab, Transit Van, Lightning, and the all-electric Mustang Mach-E. Look, I absolutely love my Explorer. It's perfect for my family, packed with cutting-edge tech and style to stand out wherever you go. And with deals like these, you won't want to miss this chance to grab your dream Ford. Remember, that's 0% APR for 60 months, $0 down, and no payments for 90 days. You can save big on top models right now, but hurry, these year-end deal savings end January 5th, so swing by Ceremony Ford in Colma, just off Ceremony Boulevard, or check out their incredible inventory right now at CeremonyFord.com. Ceremony Ford, the Bay Area's go-to spot for unbeatable year-end deals, and don't forget to tell them that Bonte sent you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9871. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9871. That's 800-575-9871. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's your boy Guru. Every time we put a rat on the table during our show, it's brought to you by Atco Pest Control. Atco Pest Control is a family-owned local business proud to provide pest control in the Bay Area for over 35 years. Atco uses natural methods to give you a peace of mind and keep your family out of harm's way. Quality pest control doesn't have to empty your savings either. Don't wait. Go to atcopestcontrol.com for all your pest control needs. They got you covered.
Are you like everybody else in the world who has no idea what to get everyone for the holidays? Well, you're in luck. We got you. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Because with hands-free Skechers slip-ins, you just step into them and they're on. There's no bending down, no touching, no fuss. Plus, Skechers slip-ins come in everyone's favorite styles and colors. And you can get slip-ins everywhere stylish footwear is sold, including a Skechers store. Or if you're too busy to shop in person, just get them online at Skechers.com, Amazon, and more.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer, an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your online traffic. So this Black Friday, get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal with 73% off and enjoy 3 extra months.
Catch comedian and actor Nick Offerman when he comes to the Bay Area with his Big Woodchuck Tour at the Masonic on February 7th. Buy your tickets at LiveNation.com. And for a chance to win a pair of tickets courtesy of Live Nation, enter online at 957thegame.com.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the weather first, before wearing face paint to the game.
Bro, your Go Cats is dripping into your nachos.
Oh, and now paint is in my eyes.
Interception! Did you see that?
No!
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Tune in to 95.7 The Game for Warriors Live, 60 minutes before tip-off. Every Warriors game throughout the season as we get ready for the action. Presented by Xfinity, your home court advantage. Brought to you by Xfinity. Watch all your favorite teams all in one place. Xfinity, imagine that.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
Are you like everybody else in the world who has no idea what to get everyone for the holidays? Well, you're in luck. We got you. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Because with hands-free Skechers slip-ins, you just step into them and they're on. There's no bending down, no touching, no fuss. Plus, Skechers slip-ins come in everyone's favorite styles and colors. And you can get slip-ins everywhere stylish footwear is sold, including a Skechers store. Or if you're too busy to shop in person, just get them online at Skechers.com, Amazon, and more.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ-FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Now back to the Kickoff Show on 95.7 The Game.
Evan Giddings, Hall of Fame nominee Lorenzo Neal with you for another hour up until 10 o'clock when the Niners take on the Cleveland Browns. Just a couple things to get out of the way here as far as the injury report is concerned. We got Tatum Bethune, who is out with the ankle injury he sustained on Monday night. You also got Sam Okuwanu, also an ankle injury he sustained on Monday night. And then I would say, based on how he's played so far since they got him to replace Jake Moody, the biggest injury the Niners still have to overcome so far, second straight week they'll be without him, is their kicker, Eddie Pinheiro. So Matt Gay is the kicker today in Cleveland.
Yeah, Pinheiro, that was big. That was a big blow to the team, but they found a way to win that ball game. But you just watched the way this defense flew around last week. It was pretty impressive to watch them against Carolina. I know Carolina is not necessarily a playoff team, but Carolina, at the time they came in, that was a big game, a big loss for Carolina. They were fighting for their playoffs hope. Since then, they dropped another game. But I really believe that the Niners defense this past week really bowed their necks, and Robert Saleh should, that performance that their defense had, should go ahead and put a plaque on the wall for that performance.
Well, and that was the unit that kind of led the way based on the disadvantageous position that Brock Purdy put them in. It was kind of interesting because the moment that maybe it was around, week 7, week 8, really when they started leaking oil low. They get demolished by the Rams on that Sunday. They give up 42 points, and we're just thinking, this defense, you got to play damn. I think it might have been after George Kittle went to the podium and say, we got to play almost perfect to keep their defense in this game. But if your defense can just give you a little bit of that, and I would say that the biggest thing for me is, and I know you can't control it every week, but forcing turnovers.
Right.
I think that's the one area that this defense can kind of help the offense in, getting the ball out, forcing interceptions. They've gotten a couple of INTs each of the last 2 weeks. And because I just don't know if you're just saying straight up, can this defense neutralize or stop an offense for a full 60 minutes? That I'm not so sure. But if they can help you win or at least stay even in the turnover battle, that to me is all you can ask for right now from that defense.
I agree with you, but I think that if you look at it this past week, don't you think defense played better than the offense? Who won that game last week? To me, it's
the defense for sure.
Yeah, and here you have George Kittle saying, "Hey, look, we got to play better because we know our defense is young," and they heard that, and I think it's really good to see the defense say, "Man, we got to do a better job." The Rams, they were just a sieve. They got ran through, and they got behind, and offense struggled early in that game as well, but they bounced back, and just defense has been a struggle for them. But if you watch the way they play, the way they get after it, try to bend but don't break. It's the defense. These young guys, these other guys, and this no-name defense that Robert Saleh has put together. Last week, getting 3 turnovers, intercepting the ball, being around the ball, doing the right thing, doing the little things. I thought this defense grew a lot last week, and I think that the offense should be the catalyst, but you can't have this offense believe that they got to go out and score every time, because when they do that, I guess it just seems like you're putting undue and unjust pressure on Brock Purdy where he's turning the ball over. So I don't know if you want to question your offense. I think you just go out of God and just say, look, if we play our best, if we body blow, take the 9-iron, the 7-iron, or 5-iron, and use our wedges and use our irons and put away the driver, we can be okay. We don't need to go and take out the driver on every par 5 and try to get to the green in 2. It's okay to get to the green in 3, be on in 3, and go ahead and putt for par, still save par. Don't try to get to the green in 2. That's what we got to be offensively, because when you try to be too aggressive, seems like you're putting your defense in harm's way.
No doubt. And I think one of the things that we saw the Niners, is specifically Kyle Shanahan, do in the second half against the Panthers, he kind of took the ball out of the hands of his quarterback.
Yeah.
It did not call a lot of plays where it was demanding Brock to move the ball down the field. Ran it a lot with Christian McCaffrey, who had another 24 carries, over 30 touches against the Carolina Panthers. might be a similar setup today. Look, you got the bye week next week, got a chance to get your body as healthy as humanly possible before the final month of the season. And I mean, you said it earlier, kind of body bag type of game in Cleveland with that weather. It's going to be another number 23 day. And for, this guy, Lowe, has just...
Robinson's been playing pretty good, too, though. I think you got to get him more touches. He's running over guys. He's running through guys. He's catching the ball. I think that they're doing him a disservice, not because you have to. I think you should want to give him the ball because he's showing you now, hey, look, he's making some plays happen because you do want to save McCaffrey for this stretch. I get it. McCaffrey, to me, is unbelievable. You talk about what he's done for this team. Last week, 4 plays, 5 plays, 6 plays in a row. The guy touched the ball. I mean, it's
like college.
It is. It's like high school. What are you talking about, college? It's high school, brother. This isn't college. You show me a guy in college that are touching the ball 6, 7 times in a row in college, and I want to see him. But go to high school, I can show you some players that are touching the ball 5, 6, 7 times in a row. But, man, college, let alone college, go back to high school. Let's go back to Pop Warner. Hell, this McCaffrey is amazing. That's why I just want this guy to be saved. And you have Robinson, you traded for him, use him a little bit more.
No, he's taking it back to Castle Rock, Colorado. I mean, that's the kind of carry numbers that McCaffrey's been getting. So last week they carried the ball, excluding the quarterback. They carried it 31 times. So McCaffrey gets 24, Robinson gets 7. And who knows? Today I think it might be a 40-carry football game for that football team because the Niners. It's not also that they don't want to throw the ball, but when you're in that kind of conditions, it's just going to be, I think, a lot harder for Brock Purdy to rip it, combined with the fact that, and we haven't talked about it yet, he has struggled in these kinds of conditions. Now, I think there's no quarterback that performs better in the rain than they do in the sun, but Brock Purdy's numbers have been drastically lower the moment he's had to play with a wet ball. He's had some good moments. I remember against the Green Bay Packers in the divisional round back in 2023 was a wet game where he led them on a game-winning drive. But for the most part, these are the kinds of games where I know a lot of fans listening, a lot of fans are going to be watching in 50 minutes are thinking, oh boy, to quote Lorenzo Neal.
Oh boy.
Yeah, exactly. The wet ball's been troubling for him. Yeah. And it's another game where he's going to have to be even more careful with the ball than he was last week when everything was, it was pretty sunshine and daisies at home.
Yeah, I think that you got to be careful with the ball, and I think both teams are going to do that. I think you're going to look at Cleveland. They're going to try to move Shedeur outside the pocket, the bootlegs, to try to get him outside where he's comfortable, where he's a double threat, run and pass. I think they're going to try to run the ball. I think you're going to see a team that's going to say, look, the Niners are a little light up front. They can't necessarily produce a lot of pressure. Let's win them first and second down. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Cleveland come out first, second down, run the ball, run, and then play action on third down. They're going to try to win, get ahead of the sticks because the Niners haven't shown that they can stop the run consistently. So I think that's what Cleveland's going to do. And I think the Niners, they have to say, look, we got to run away from Myles Garrett. We understand who he is. We got to make sure we cut him off. But this is not a Cleveland team that you can just run the ball on either. So, is it going to be a physical type of game? Absolutely. So it's going to be like, who's got a better running game? I ask you, which team do you think run the ball better with more consistency out of Cleveland and Niners? What team, in your opinion, is more consistent running the ball? I know who's got the better back. It's McCaffrey. But I don't know if the Niners have shown they can run the ball consistently the whole year yet.
And you just hit the nail on the head. I don't think they've shown that they can stop the run consistently over the course of this season. Like I think, obviously Christian McCaffrey's he might be the best player on the field outside of Myles Garrett, but this run game they've had 3 games where they've had 100+ yards on the ground. Out of 12. I mean, that's not a lot, especially for a Kyle Shanahan offense.
And that's good. So
they've won those games, but
that's why Brock Purdy is going to have to throw the ball. He's going to have to throw the ball, even though this weather condition, at least 25 to 30 times. I know it's a high number because of the wind and stuff, but he's going to throw it 20 to 25 times. And you have to create illusion. You got to get guys in bunch, and you got to have them razor. That's where one's running across and one's running underneath. So now you can move guys off. So the DBs are going to play off. If they're playing man, they got to play off because If you press them, you're going to rub one of the DBs off. So that's why you have the advantage, and you got to get the ball out of his hand. You can't go 7-step drop because you got Myles Garrett on the other side. So this is going to be a game that you want to see McCaffrey. I wouldn't be surprised if McCaffrey has 10 catches today because you're going to run him out in a little flare and say, okay, boom, run the little swing. You get the ball out of his hands because you can't throw the ball downfield all day, the weather, the wind, the other conditions, but you can throw that short pass, get the ball out of his hand quick with those quick check downs, quick out routes, quick slant routes. So that's what I think the game plan is, because you can't line up and say, we're just going to beat you up and play bully football. You're not built that way this year.
That was one of the things that confused me a little bit about Carolina last week is they didn't really run the ball that much. And I know that they were down in the second half, but when they got those 3 interceptions in the first half low, I was seeing Bryce Young drop back a lot. Rico Dowdle is a really good running back. I do not think that Kevin Stefanski and that offense, especially considering that they're rolling out a rookie quarterback who's making his second start, they're going to commit to the run. And I think because of the weather, along with generally the game script for the Niners, this is going to be sort of a lower scoring game. Touchdowns are going to be somewhat of a rarity. Points are going to be at a premium. I think that the Niners are going to have to prove to Cleveland that they can stop the run before they turn away from Quinshon Judkins and the rest of those running backs.
You're absolutely right. The Niners are going to have to show that they can stop the run, and Shedeur is going to hand the ball, and he's going to pull it, and he's going to run. I really believe if I'm Stefanski, I'm going to put the ball in Shedeur's hand and have him run the ball as well. I don't necessarily. I understand you got to protect your quarterback in this cold weather. They're going to run this young kid. They're going to let him pull. They're going to let him run. This guy is going to run and have at least anywhere from 5 to 10 carries, which he's not a running quarterback necessarily, but you're going to give him some opportunities to boot, to move the pocket. They're going to, with Junkins, they're going to put the ball in his belly. They're going to hand it off to him. The Niners today, they are going to have to stop the run today. How do you do it? Is it putting another lineman and going 5 down? Because Cleveland is going to try to run the ball. They're going to say, let's not turn over the ball. These two teams are going to play similar football today. This is going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. This is not a blowout game. Cleveland's defense is just too good. I'm telling you, if you're looking for a blowout, the Niners are supposed to kill them, you guys are drinking. You're drinking the Kool-Aid. That's not the type of game this is today.
Well, there's been a lot of drinking going on this week. It is the holidays, low. I think there's a lot of libations being consumed during Thanksgiving.
But it's probably not just Kool-Aid.
Probably turn the corner, though, here on a Sunday. The thing, too, is I also believe that this, maybe more than last week, I know Brock Purdy took off a couple times, didn't take off against Arizona. I also think that the toe is going to be tested a little bit because he's going to have to, whether you talked about move the pocket, he might have to scramble a little bit more than he's used to. He's going to be running for his life from Myles Garrett. We're going to see how healthy that toe is. And I thought it looked pretty good against the Panthers, had a scramble for a first down. In fact, you brought up the play earlier where he tried to fit it in the end zone instead of dumping it off to Kittle. He probably also could have run for a first down.
He could have.
And so against Cleveland today, I think Shedeur Sanders is someone that can use his legs. And the Niners have struggled a bit against mobile quarterbacks in the past. I think we're going to see him run. I wonder how much Brock Purdy is going to have to take off in this football game, too.
Yeah, he's going to have to. He's going to have to because you've shown this year your inability to run the ball with consistency. You are going to have to manufacture other type of rushing yards, whether it's Brock Purdy pulling the ball in, pulling the ball down and not handing it, whether it's Brock Purdy on bootlegs, getting outside the pocket and taking off, whether it's Brock Purdy on broken coverages or the pass rush is there and he sees the seam because Myles is trying to get a sack and they left that wide 9 wide open, created a lane, whether it's that. There is going to be some opportunities for Brock Purdy to make noise with his legs, and he has to. Brock Purdy needs, you look at this team and look what they're playing. He's going to have at least 4 or 5 scrambles, 4 or 5 runs. I would be surprised if you said you gave me a number at 3 or 4 or 5. I would take the over. That Brock Purdy has more than 5 rushes. I really do that. I think there's going to be several that's designed, whether it's quarterback sneak, whether it's quarterback draw, whether it's those are going to be there, whether it's pull and bootleg, get out there, and then you're going to have about 3 or 4 that's going to be broken plays, and he's going to take off. He has to. Brock Purdy has to create running yardage because this offense is not good enough to line up and say we're going to play bully ball for 4 quarters and beat you running the ball. They beat you in other ways. This team has shown you that they can win football games when they got McCaffrey out on the perimeter and get the ball in his hands. He makes guys miss. If one guy is not going to usually make the tackle, 9 out of 10 times he's going to make that guy miss. You're going to have receivers doing the quick outs, quick slants. It's just like a long handoff. You are going to see this team be efficient with short passes and also with quarterback making some plays with his legs.
888-957-9570 is the number. This is the Kickoff Show with Hall of Fame nominee Lorenzo Neal and Evan Giddings, taking you up until 10 o'clock here between the Niners and the Browns. What do you think that this game comes down to? What do you think the keys are for the 49ers, the keys to victory here today? Let's get out to New Jersey and talk to our guy, Mitch. Mitch, good morning, man. How you doing? What's going on?
Doing well. How you guys doing? Happy holidays. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving.
Yes, we did. I hope the same to you.
Thank you. It was a shame that Dallas and the Bears won. That makes their life a little tougher, but I think all these teams, other than division wins, are coming out of the North and the West. I think we just got, if we don't give up that many sacks, they had a lot of sacks last week. I think we can win this game. Just got to keep their defensive line, especially Myles Garrett, away from our quarterback. And hopefully Purdy has a good game. Throw to our guys only, please. And I hope we can. I like Sanders, but let him have a good game next week. Anyway, thanks for taking my call. Enjoy the game.
Thanks, Mitch. Appreciate the call.
Mitch.
Yeah, well, no, he actually brought up a couple of the games that have already gone down this week. Obviously, 3 on Thanksgiving, and then the Friday matchup in which Chicago jumped the Eagles. Lo, I think the NFC is just it is looking like the supreme conference. In comparison to the past, where I think just because of the top quarterbacks always sort of having resided in the AFC, right? Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, obviously Lamar. Those guys are in the AFC. We don't have to think about them. But this year, I just think there's more complete teams in the NFC, and a lot of them you saw pick up victories over the last 2 days.
Yeah, you did. I think the team to beat, they're going to play here today, this morning, and that's the Rams. When you watch the Los Angeles Rams, do I say that there could be 2 L.A. teams that win titles this year? The L.A. Dodgers just won one. And right now, if you gave me 2 teams to say going to win the Super Bowl, my strongest 2 teams would come from the NFC, and believe it or not, and they would both come from the NFC West, Seattle and the Rams. You could give me if you said, hey, I could have if I could take and throw the Niners in there, if I could take a Super Bowl team, which I'll throw the Niners in there because of the fact they're in the NFC West. I would. Yeah. You could have the Phil in the NFC, and I would take those 3 teams. That one of those 3 teams will be represent. I'm not saying win a Super Bowl. They will represent the NFC. Barring any injuries, the NFC West will represent the NFC this year in the Super Bowl. I'm right
90.
There with you. This is me not being 50% or 60%. I feel 80 to 90% sure that it will be one of these teams in the NFC West.
Well, and look, we talked about it even before the season. Like you knew that I was higher on Seattle. I thought that first game for the Niners was one that kind of set the stage for the kind of team that they could be. But the Rams are, to me, the clear-cut favorites. But I think they're both similar in the sense that they both have capable quarterback play. The Rams, obviously, I think they probably have the MVP favorite right now in Stafford. But they can run the ball. And those defenses are ferocious. I mean, Seattle over the last couple of seasons has completely rebuilt what they have done on the defensive side of the ball. I think the Niners are trying to, right now, one of the reasons why I feel good about where the Niners are long-term is that I think they've kind of taken a Rams or Seahawks-like approach to that side of the football. The Rams a couple of years ago, they got rid of everybody, and they invested in the draft. They got young, they got mean, and they got guys inside that could dictate the line of scrimmage. Same with the Seattle Seahawks. I think that they got a little bit of an expedited kind of process to their defense when they acquired Leonard Williams from the Giants.
Right.
But they have invested solely in that defensive line and guys that can fly to the football. And so I'm with you. I love what both of those teams have done this year, and I'm with you that the Rams are slightly ahead. But if they matched up again in the postseason, which is very much a possibility, to me, that is a coin flip kind of game.
Yeah, it really is, and it's going to be interesting to see because the Niners, they're putting draft capital into these young cats, and that's the whole thing. You can't miss. You think about this Niner team; it's missed on some defensive players. Think about some of the guys that are no longer here on the team. You look at Greenlaw, no longer on the team. You look at the defensive lineman. I think who's the big interior guy? Huge. Where is he playing now?
So Javon Kinlaw?
Kinlaw. Yeah, Kinlaw, where'd he go? He's playing
he was with New York.
Yeah, he's not in New York.
He might be with Washington now?
He's with Washington. He's with Washington. So, but look at Kinlaw. So you have put in draft capital on these interior lines because Kinlaw he was built like Tarzan, just played kind of like Jane. He didn't have the consistency that you wanted from him. So you have invested draft capital in the trenches, and that's what the Niners have to continue to do. And they just got to do better, not missing, because you have to. And that's what you're talking about. The Rams, they didn't go out and get some big, huge names. They're doing it through the draft. You look at Seattle, they're doing it through the draft. Yeah, they'll plug a player here, there, at times, but the majority of the hardware has come from the draft and just some no-name guys. And I think that's what the Niners, you look at the way this defense is built right now, you don't have any $20, $30 million players on the field. You don't have no 15, 20. You have young guys on the first contract, and they're playing. This is what you have to do if you want to play those skill positions, the big money. And the Niners, I think they got it. And as long as you keep Robert Saleh here and you let him stay in the kitchen and continue to cook with the head coach to bring in the type of guys that fit his scheme, you're going to be all right.
888-957-9570 is the number. We got a half hour left until kickoff between the 49ers and the Browns. We also got your overtime reaction with Mark Randy and Sterling Bennett coming up after the game on 95.7 The Game. But the kickoff show, one final segment. We're going to go through all the games prior to the 10 a.m. kick between the Niners and the Browns, get you our thoughts on the franchises, the teams, as we enter right now, the month of December. We are right on the edge there. Week 13. It's an awesome time to be a football fan. The weather begins to turn. The teams start to separate themselves, and the Niners are right there in the thick of things at 8-4 with a chance to get their 9th win of the season. All right, 888-9570 is the number. Evan Giddings, that's the Hall of Fame nominee, Lorenzo Neal with you. We're back after this on the Kickoff Show on 95.7 The Game.
We all have regrets. That haircut, that text, missing out on Kohl's Cyber Days. Good news, you can fix at least one of those. Get up to 50% off gifts for everyone on your list. Sunday and Monday only at Kohl's. From cozy favorites to top toys, you've got 2 days until you miss out. Don't let Cyber Days be the sale that got away. Save at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles, offer ends December 1st. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
It seems everyone gets a tip these days. Deliver food? Get a tip. Drive around town? Get a tip. Serve a drink? Get a tip. But here's one tip that can help you find a higher paying career. Merit America can help you get the training and support to find and succeed in an in-demand job, like data analytics or HR admin or supply chain planning. It may be the last tip you ever need. Learn more at meritamerica.org.
Tune in to 95.7 The Game for Warriors Live, 60 minutes before tip-off. Every Warriors game throughout the season as we get ready for the action. Presented by Xfinity, your home court advantage. Brought to you by Xfinity. Watch all your favorite teams all in one place. Xfinity, imagine that.
Step into the warmth and elegance of the season at History Park's Heritage Holiday Tea on December 6th. This members-only celebration is filled with holiday treats and the timeless charm. It's the perfect way to gather, relax, and enjoy the spirit of the holidays with friends and family. Not a member yet? Join today and be part of this special event and so much more. Visit historysanjose.org for tickets or to become a member.
Black Friday weekend is here. Once a year, you get the lowest prices on the top-rated brands of TV, Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs at stupid prices. You don't have to buy a no-name doorbuster TV with poor picture when you can get a good one for a few dollars more. Where's the best place to shop for these top brands? At Video Only, the only place where you can get better than Black Friday deals on Samsung, LG, and Sony. Better than clubs, better than online. Before you buy, check out the deals at Video Only, because if you don't, you'll be sorry.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills. Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
I gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep a smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Red and Gold Game Day starts at Laughing Monk Brewing. Park for free. Enjoy amazing food, ice-cold beer, and every game on TV. Catch 95.7 The Game's pregame show. Then hop on the free shuttle straight to the stadium. Sign up now at 957thegame.com.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tea at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
The holiday rush starts here at your California Ford dealers. The Ford Black Friday Sell-a-thon is on. It's 4 days only of some of our best offers across the entire Ford lineup. From America's best-selling Ford F-Series trucks for 48 years, the legendary F-150 and Super Duty. The Bronco family of SUVs for those who don't wait for adventure to begin. All-electric standouts like the Mustang Mach-E and F-150 Lightning. And explore and escape, the perfect balance of comfort, capability, and everyday versatility. Get ready to power through whatever the season brings in a Ford. But don't wait. These Black Friday Sell-a-thon savings are here for 4 days only. The clock's ticking, the lots are moving. And these are the season's biggest savings on an incredible selection of Ford vehicles. Rush in before the Sell-a-thon and the savings are over December 1st. Get to your California Ford dealers today. Claim based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year industry reported total.
Now back to the Kickoff Show on 95.7 The Game.
All right, a half hour until kickoff in Cleveland. It is warm in the studio here at the Laughing Monk Studios, but it is cold in Cleveland. 25 mile per hour winds, looking at 30 degrees. It's supposed to rain, and then it's supposed to snow. But can the Niners come out with a victory? You were talking about it earlier. Yes, the Niners are a West Coast team. They're a sunny crew from Santa Clara. But Cleveland's got to play in those conditions, too. I would not want to be a guy out on that field today.
No, and guess what? Neither would I. I love football, and I miss football. If I could go back in time, it wouldn't be to go back for these type of games. Hell no, I don't want to go. But I'll tell you, this is going to be that knockdown, drag them out, street fight. This is going to be a battle of the wills, battle of fortitude. Who's going to make the least amount of stake? Field position is going to be premium. Turnovers going to be premium. This game is about will. It's about attention to details and who's going to win the turnover battles and win in the trenches. This is simple. This is not this is just, hey, look, we have to play football, and it's smash mouth football. The Niners don't got to match Cleveland as far as smash mouth line. They have to match them smash mouth. It's like throwing the ball to the perimeters, throwing the ball these long handoffs, getting McCaffrey the ball out in space and let him beat a linebacker and a safety, let him beat two guys and pick up 10, 15, even a bigger play, a possibly home run. That's what it's about. Guys got to go out in the right cleats, make sure they have the right shoes on out there, make sure it's a half inch or whether it's an inch cleats because that ground's cold and it's frozen. It's going to be loose, so you're going to be sliding. That field's going to get eaten up. So it's about having the right shoes, attention to detail, and that's what it's going to be about today, man. This is a game, those throwback games. It's going to be sloppy and it's going to be ugly, but you cannot turn the ball over and lose this turnover battle.
And that's what Brock Purdy is going to try to do, bounce back from his 3-interception performance against the Carolina Panthers and try and improve to 3-0 since his return from his turf toe injury. All right, it's time to go around the NFL. We got a full slate of games to discuss, state of the franchises, where these teams are going, up, down, all the rest, as we begin with the 10 a.m. and I would say back-to-back division games in the AFC South. We'll start first with, I think, an intriguing matchup. The Indianapolis Colts at home, given 3 against a very hot Houston Texans team that most recently embarrassed the Buffalo Bills.
Yes, everyone is talking about the Houston Texans and the way that they're playing. They're playing smash mouth football. They're playing great on the defensive side of the ball. They're getting after the quarterbacks. But I watched the Indianapolis Colts lose a close one last week. Look for this Indianapolis Colts team to bounce back, especially at home in Indy. Give me the Colts. Give me the Colts.
I like the Texans in this one. I think that Indianapolis is a team that is built on the back of Jonathan Taylor. I think Daniel Jones, especially, he's got a little bit of a hip injury. There's just something about this team, Lo, that I've been wondering if and when they're going to lose a home game, which, by the way, they haven't all year. I think today is the first day.
Oh, boy.
All right. And then another AFC South game. This one's a little more sloppy. We got the Tennessee Titans, who are 1-10, 0-6, have not won a home game, the antithesis of the Colts. They are 6-point underdogs at home to the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that, for all the highs and the lows, they're 7-4 and in a wild card spot right now.
The Jaguars have found a way to win and come back from the dead. You watched Jacksonville last week when they traveled to Arizona and went up and down the field, and it came down to the last series of the play where they went off with the touchdown. I'll tell you, that was a game Arizona should have won, but I just think this Jacksonville team, they're like a cat. They have 9 lives. Give me Jacksonville.
I like Jacksonville too, but I'll tell you this. If Trevor Lawrence turns the ball over 3 or 4 times the way he did last week against the Cardinals, a game that they should have absolutely waxed Arizona, this might be the second win of the season for Cam Ward in that destitute franchise right now in Nashville. All right, Miami hosting the New Orleans Saints. The Dolphins quietly, though they're 4-7, they've won 3 out of their last 4, beginning to look a little more like the Mike McDaniel Dolphins of old, and they're 5.5-point favorites in Miami.
The Miami Dolphins. Let me have them. I like the Dolphins. You got to realize the young lefty quarterback. You watch this guy struggle, but he's getting it going. I like Arizona. They're up by 5 points. Give me Arizona in the points. Give me Miami in the points. Miami Dolphins, they get this one.
I like the Dolphins too. The Saints just have not had it this year. They've been bouncing around quarterbacks. They've got guys in and out. I know it's the first season for their head coach, but this is a team that is a long ways away from winning. Meanwhile, Miami, though they probably are eliminated from the playoffs, they are playing like it. And so I like Miami at home. I also like them with the points. All right, let's head to the Meadowlands and talk to the New York Jets, a 2-win team at home against Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons going into East Rutherford. The Falcons are 3-point favorites on the road, Lo.
Yeah, this is going to be a drag-down, sock-em dirty game. You look at Arizona, you look at the Jets playing against the ATL. Kirk Cousins going to take the helm at quarterback. This coach may be out. When you look at the ATL, this is a lot riding on it. I know they're up by 3. I know they're favored by 3. But give me Aaron Rodgers. Give me my teammate. I'll take the Jets at home. Look for an upset. Jets, Jets.
I think there's no way the Falcons can continue to play as bad as they've played. They ended a 5-game skid last week against the Saints, who are also bad. I think this is going to be a gross football game. And I'll tell you what, if there's one side I don't want right now, it is the Falcons. But I got to take them against the Jets, and we're going to find out who wins in just about 20 minutes. All right, the second of the last 10 o'clock games, we head out to Tampa Bay, where the Arizona Cardinals are going into Tampa. It's going to be Teddy Bridgewater this week. Baker Mayfield right now out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They do get, pardon me. Oh, actually, I think Baker Mayfield is in for this game. So Baker is at home, given 4 points against Jacoby Brissett and the Arizona Cardinals.
Really shocked that this game came out at only 3. When you think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and what they've been through, they've been in some dogfights of late. They've dropped a couple close games. I think that they're playing against the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona's getting 3.5. I'll tell you right now, load up. Tampa Bay's the pick. Tampa Bay's the lock of the week. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with 3.5.
I agree. Yeah, Baker Mayfield expected to play through a partially torn labrum, partial tear in the rotator cuff, and a cracked bone in the socket. That's why he left last week against the Rams.
Guy's tough.
I mean, he's the definition of it.
He really is. And I'll tell you right now, this team, they really appreciate Baker Mayfield, what he's done, what he's been through in his illustrious career. Here's a guy that goes out. You got to pull him off the field. He's not going to go down without a fight. And that's why I'm going with this Buccaneer team.
Yeah, I think they also cover against the Cardinals, a team right now that is headed down as opposed to up. All right, and then we go over to Carolina in Charlotte. Relatively clear skies. The Rams on the road against the Panthers. MVP favorite Matthew Stafford, 30 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, taking on a Carolina team that obviously last week could not use the 3 picks from Brock Purdy, and they are now 6-6.
Yeah, here's a guy that you're talking about, Stafford, what he's been able to do at the quarterback position. He's loving his receivers. You got Devontae Adams. You see what this guy's doing. The walk-off touchdown in the end zone, runs into the tunnel like Bo Jackson did it back in the day. You love to see the Fresno State alum do that. But I'll tell you right now, this is probably the MVP. Matthew Stafford is probably going to be the MVP of the NFL because of what he's doing, the weapons he have. This guy's playing unbelievable. Here's a guy that we talked about, you talked about, one injury from being out. Didn't know if this guy was going to play this year. Look at what happens. Doesn't play in preseason, and he's absolutely lighting it up. And I think that you would agree this guy's the front runner for MVP of the league.
I agree. He is. He's playing fantastic. He's playing his best football at his oldest of age. I am keeping an eye out, though, for the 10 a.m. slow start by a West Coast squad. I think the Rams will win this football game, but I'm curious to see if the Carolina Panthers, who are just a Jekyll and Hyde group, can keep this one close. All right, we move to the 1 o'clock slate. Seattle at home in Lumen Field, hosting the Minnesota Vikings without J.J. McCarthy, without Carson Wentz. They turn to the Minnesota Golden Gopher, Max Brosmer, who has 42 yards this season as a passer. And this one is obviously heavily in favor of the Seahawks by 11.5 points.
Yeah, I think this one's too low. I think you and I might need to go ahead and relook and maybe put the farm on this one because you have a Minnesota team that's quit. You have a Jefferson's quit. You watch the guys on this team, the body language. You see a team that J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback, the young rookie, wants to win. Missed last year. He does not want to be there. Uncomfortable. He wants to play. He wants to win. He's just seeing ghosts. He's not playing well. The team is not behind him. The head coach is even doubting him. This is an interesting situation. I look for Seattle. Seattle, to me, they're in the 3 spot, maybe even the 2 spot in the whole NFC. I like Seattle a lot. I like this game a lot, and that's why I'm taking Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, last week they kind of got backdoor covered by the Titans. They were up 3 touchdowns, took their foot off the gas pedal. I don't think they do that today. Also helps that they're at home against Minnesota, but a Vikings group that really just, I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. Keep an eye out for that location to make a move this summer, potentially for a Mac Jones, who is in need of a quarterback while they decide what they want to do. It's obviously Seattle in this one. I think they move to 9-3 and keep themselves within arm distance of the Los Angeles Rams for the NFC West. Right now looking like the best division in football. All right, we move out to Pittsburgh now. The Steelers at home taking on the Buffalo Bills. You know, when we're looking at this slate low, a lot of kind of even spreads, close spreads, but not a lot among good teams. I think besides Indy and Houston, this might be the closest game and the toughest one to predict of the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm with you. When you see the Steelers, they have struggled, but so has Buffalo. Buffalo has been so inconsistent. You've seen Josh Allen, the big fella, struggle at times, and you've seen what the Steelers, don't have Aaron Rodgers, but you've seen this team go out and lay goose eggs. Inconsistent, one of the overpaid defenses, one of the highest paid defenses in NFL, the Steelers. Don't know if this is Tomlin's last year because the Steelers have been shelling themselves. One thing you know about the Steelers from years past, they were going to play good defense, and they haven't been able to do that this year, and neither has Buffalo. You got two coaches that may be on the way out. You have two teams that are going the wrong direction, but I still, if you had me to take this pick, I'm still going to take the Buffalo Bills to go into Steelers Heinz Field and win that game.
Yeah, I think the Bills have to bounce back. This is just a game they're kind of on the edge of the playoff picture because of the inconsistencies you mentioned. They don't have a chance against the New England Patriots. That division is essentially the Pats for the taking in the AFC East. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers are clinging on to the AFC North for dear life. I mean, Baltimore, though they're an up and down group as well, right now is a half game behind the Steelers. If the Steelers lose today, they would be tied with the Baltimore Ravens, a team that was once 1-5 to begin the season. So I think there's a lot of pressure on both teams, but I think Josh Allen also has a bit more to prove, bouncing back from a really bad game in which he was sacked 9 times against the Houston Texans. I'll take the Buffalo Bills. I think they cover on the road at Pittsburgh. And then another game, another division matchup, we move back to the West and to Inglewood, SoFi Stadium. The Los Angeles Chargers at home trying to bounce back after an ugly performance in Jacksonville. They got mollywopped by Trevor Lawrence and crew the last time they were on the field. Off a bye week, they now play the Las Vegas Raiders and are obviously big favorites at home.
The Chargers, they looked absolutely ferocious last week. Jacksonville ran up and down the field. They got mollywopped. Look for the Chargers at home against the Raiders to absolutely put a spanking on them. Herbert and this offense have to get going. They got to be more consistent in the defense. The Chargers defense got ran up and down the field on. They have to redeem themselves. They have to stop Gentry. You know what the Raiders are going to try to do. They're going to say, let's run the ball. Look for the Chargers to bow their neck, play good defense, and look for the Chargers to cover.
The Chargers right now, that spread is at 10. I would be wary about it just because Niners fans, if you think that your offensive line can't protect the quarterback, I would implore you to go watch the Chargers. That is a offensive line that because of injury, because they have been beaten, battered, and bruised, they cannot keep that guy upright. And anytime you have a quarterback that's on his you-know-what more than he's on his feet, it's going to be hard for you to win football games consistently. And in spite of that, the Chargers still are 7-4. I think they're a good football team, not a great football team, but certainly good enough to beat the Raiders, who lost to the Cleveland Browns last week at home. All right, as for the Sunday night game, the Washington Commanders hosting the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos right now, if we were to line up the top two teams in the AFC, it's not Mahomes. It's not Allen. It's not Lamar. It's not Burrow. It is Bo Nix and Drake May. Those are the two best teams in the AFC right now, and the Denver Broncos are working on an 8-game winning streak. They head to Washington low.
Yeah, this game to me won't be as competitive as we'd like to see it. I think that you have the Denver Broncos. They're starting to heat up. They're on a great winning streak. I like the Denver Broncos in this one. We know who they are playing. They're playing against the Commanders. Look for Denver to take care of business.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the few games where Denver reminds us just how good they are. They don't have to get by the skin of their teeth. Washington, without Jaden Daniels, and even with him this year, just has not looked the same as last season, as they've gone essentially from first to worst in that division. And I also like Denver to come away with that game. As for the Monday night game, just talking about Drake May, the Patriots are going to be hosting the New York Giants at home. This one, to me, also a lopsided game. Patriots -7. It's going to be a cold weather game. Supposed to be 25 degrees with a wind chill of 15 up at Foxborough at Gillette Stadium. But still, I expect Drake May and really the Washington Commanders of 2025. The Patriots, under Mike Vrabel, they've gone from worst to first.
Wow.
I think they continue to roll on Monday night.
It's absolutely amazing what Vrabel has done for this team and this organization, you watch the Patriots, the way that they're playing. Yes, they're in close games. They had one of the weakest schedule, but you play the teams that are in front of you, and they have been taking care of business. I like the Patriots. I like them to roll and look for Vrabel to be the number 1 seed in the AFC. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thought that the Patriots would be the number 1 seed in the AFC? First-year coach Mike Vrabel.
It's unbelievable. That was a guy that the Tennessee Titans said hit the road. They didn't want Mike Vrabel.
Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more.
And he said, fine, I'll go to New England and turn them all the way around into a team that could potentially compete for a Super Bowl. You know, it's funny. Well, we have a couple minutes here before we give our predictions and final assessment of the Niners and the Browns. You brought this up earlier before the show, how, you know, all the last couple of years we've been looking at the AFC. It's all about the AFC, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens. They're the dominant conference. This season, Lo, I think it very much, the pendulum has swung back to the NFC. And while the best quarterbacks on the surface level reside on the opposite side of the American Football Conference, it is the NFC this year, to me, that's turning heads with the teams towards the top, with the teams towards the middle, and even the teams towards the bottom of the postseason picture. So the Niners are trying to sneak in, but they're trying to wiggle in between, I would say, 6 to 7 teams that I could legitimately see 1, if not 2, playoff wins.
Yeah, wiggle, 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 wiggle. The Niner has wiggled in. They're in this thing. The biggest thing they have to do is take care of today. You win today, you are pretty much in the playoffs. So the Niners, back door, front door, don't matter what, as long as you get in, you're winning, buddy. So this is going to be great. You look at the Niners, they're in the thick of things. Yes, Seattle, the Rams, I think they're the 2 best teams, or, you know, whatever, however you want to put it, top 3 teams in the NFC, and maybe one of those teams are the best team in the NFL. So the Niners are amongst great company to be where they're at with all the injuries. All you got to do is, like the Raiders, Al Davis should say, just win, baby, win.
Well, and with that said, how do the Niners win today? I think that against the Cleveland Browns, we've talked about it for the last couple of hours. This is an immensely important game for the Niners, considering the last 3 games of the year, really after the bye week, that's where their schedule becomes like the rest of the team's schedules. That first place schedule where you're playing, you know, bottom feeders and guys coming off injury, all that goes out of the window.
Yes.
After Titans, you got the Colts, you got the Bears, and you got the Seahawks. All 3 of those games are going to be dogfights. I think this is the one that they have to get today. If they do, if they improve to 9-4, that gives them a lot of cushion, even looking at a competitive NFC picture for them to get into the postseason.
You only on the road, though, one more time, right? Correct? So you have the Bears at home. You have Tennessee at home. Where's the rest of those games? I think when you look at the Niners, that's what gives you a lot of hope.
Yeah, one more road game.
You only have one more road game. You have Seattle here, so you'll have, you know, so if you can find a way to win, I think that you're in. And today, just don't make it close, because you don't want to have regrets by not taking care of business today. And today's going to be a tough out. It's no layup. So I know that this is a game that people look at the schedule and say, oh, this game is easy. I think this game is going to be tougher than Chicago. I'm just my thoughts. I think that this game is not tougher than Seattle. Seattle's anything can happen because of the rival, but Seattle is a better team. This game, to me, is one of the toughest one on the remaining on the schedule. I think this one, if you ask me what are the toughest games remaining on the schedule, Seattle in this one.
There's a reason when the Niners have not won in Cleveland since 1984. And yes, all the games are different. You play there every 4 years. But that, to me, that is a long streak that could potentially come to an end today. 40 years they haven't won in Cleveland, and they're going to try to do it today. I think the Niners can, but I think it's going to be a rock fight. It might be a snow fight because there's going to be snow on the ground in Cleveland. I think, Lo, this is going to be a game that's like 13-10.
So do I.
And the Niners are going to find a way to win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be it's 17-10, 17-20 at the highest, 2017.
I'd be shocked if someone gets to 30. I'd be shocked.
They're not getting to 30. They're not getting to 30. But here's the thing. If the Niners aren't ready to play, Cleveland's going to run the ball down their throat. I'm just telling you, and it can get ugly. This is those games that you say, okay, if the Niners are playing their best, it's going to be a low-scoring game. Cleveland wins, it's not going to be close. I think Cleveland. I think the Niners can win a close game. I think Cleveland wins a game where they just run the ball and the Niners have no answer.
Well, we're going to find out.
I got the Niners though. I with you. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Give me 16, 14, 16-12, maybe a safety somewhere in there. So this is going to be just a low-scoring game. Look for both these two teams to just try to play field position and turn them back.
I mean, I also do think on the heels of what happened Monday, this is a game where Brock Purdy's not going to turn. He cannot turn the ball over today, and I think he learned his lesson.
I hope he did. I hope so. And go Niners, bang, bang, Niner game. Let's get this thing rolling, baby.
No doubt. Niners and the Browns are coming up in just a couple of minutes. We'll send you to Fox Sports programming before overtime after the game. Your Niners reaction to the Cleveland Browns here in Week 13 with Mark Grandy and Sterling Bennett. And coming up next, it'll be Fox Sports programming. But the next time you can catch us after the bye week, we'll be live at Laughing Monk Brewing for the kickoff show. Pull up, great food, great drinks, a great experience, and a free shuttle to and from Levi's Stadium. Come on by. It's in Sunnyvale, like 2 miles from Levi's Stadium. It's a great time with great people, and we're looking forward to it. So that's where you can catch Hall of Fame Lorenzo Neal. For Cameron Williams, my name is Evan Giddings saying so long here on 95.7 The Game, the kickoff show. And we'll see if the Niners can come out with a victory, move to 9-4 against the Cleveland Browns. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Bang, bang.
Bang, bang!
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open